I'm really a whore. Like I'm a like with a W. Like I'm a whore.
But define that, though.
Like I'm a whore.
What if Summer comes to you, as pretty as she is, and says, "Mom, I want to be a city girl"?
She ain't gonna be no city girl.
So Summer ain't allowed to be no city girl?
No. I want her raised totally different. Like, I don't even want her to even see the light of day like that. Like I really want her to just be like, like level-headed, a schoolgirl and just on a whole nother ways. Like, I kind of was raised different, so I don't want to raise her up how I was raised. So, I'm a city girl, ain't nothing wrong with it, but I don't want that for my daughter.
There's no privacy in being a hoe anymore. Today, I wanted to talk about the agenda that is currently being put on Black women and the hypersexualization that has literally been just explored and exploited and promoted. My reason for speaking about this is because it appears to be that we are glamorizing a lifestyle that was forced on us and currently utilizing it as a way of feeling liberated, as a way of feeling as if we're living our best lives. I want to start with the hoe phase. The hoe phase is a time in a woman's life where she is at a moment of peace and being fine with the fact of being promiscuous and exploring her sexual desires with multiple people. Most women have went through it. A lot of women are going through it currently. It really can happen at any age, but typically it happens with young women. They're being free spirits, so to speak. At this moment, we are currently going through a 20-year hoe phase when it comes to Black women. It's concerning because it's not healthy. It's not allowing us to be in our most best light when it comes to the world, and how they view us is affecting the youth and how they view us. It's affecting men, our men, in how they view us. It's affecting how we view ourselves, because now we're at this point where we're completely okay with being whores. We're completely okay with just exploiting our own selves, and the media eats it up. I've noticed that over the past few months, the situation with Keke Palmer. Now we have this situation with Summer Walker. We also saw some things with Sukiana. The reason why I've spoken about them, because these are women who are openly overly sexualized, and they do it themselves. There's no problem with a woman exploring her sexuality, being confident in her body, confident in who she is. There has to come a breaking point where we got to realize that it's time to make a change. And I posted this on my Facebook page as well as in my TikTok. I'm going to also insert the video.
I think it's time for Black women to remove the hot girl summer vocabulary and lifestyle away. We just need to kick that shit out of our culture, because it's not serving us. It's really not. It's not helping us on the dating market. It's not helping women be better mothers. It's not preparing them to be wives and suitable mates for our men. The only thing that it's doing is creating more hoes. I'm calling for old hoes, reformed hoes, to really start putting game into these new hoes. Because these new hoes, they have no chill. They think that this hoe phase is a lifestyle, and it's not. It's supposed to be a phase, meaning it's supposed to come and go. You're not supposed to keep it going. Like, it needs to stop at one point. Because at some point, you're going to want somebody to love. You're going to want somebody to value you. You're going to want somebody to marry you, and you're going to want to be in a relationship. Because not only does it lower your value, but somebody who is valuable doesn't want to be with somebody that hasn't been with everybody.
I spoke about how I feel like women who were once promiscuous and have reformed or changed their lives for the better, they no longer allow themselves to be spread amongst a variety of different people. I feel like it's important that those type of women maybe do a conference or a TED Talk to kind of, insert some game, insert some encouragement in these younger women who are being exploited for financial gain from those people who really don't give a damn about them. It's an agenda at play, my people. There's an agenda at play and has been at play since long before we've even got to this point. It is a reputation that has been stained on our image since before slavery. See, hypersexualization amongst Black women started in Africa, when colonizers were speaking amongst themselves before they decided to rape the land and take over the people. They were enamored by the women's bodies, the way that they were shaped, the way that they moved, the way that they dressed, the way that they had their cultural differences. Went over there, took these people, moved them over to America, made them slaves. You can even look at the pictures and see that when they were put on auction blocks to be sold to slave owners, there were women as well as teen girls and children. They were exposed so that way slave owners who would see them, who already heard about the hypersexualization, these slave owners would see their bodies and they would pick them to their liking. Not only for them to be workers, but for them to be their sexual slaves, because they knew that they could have their way with them. The women weren't going to fight. They weren't going to run to the police or to the authorities. Black people weren't considered humans at that time. They didn't have a voice. So they would take these women, they would bring them to the plantation, would impregnate them, and make their children slaves as well. Hypersexualization continued on. It was a time where women were able to explore and be, open with their sexuality. Billie Holiday was doing what she was doing. We didn't know that Billie Holiday was a freak until we seen the movie, honestly. Tina Turner and Aretha Franklin, Shaka Khan were actually, I would say, hypersexual. We didn't know that because they set themselves out to the world as such upstanding, strong, beautiful, respectable Black women. And they were freaks behind the closed doors. We're not going to sit here and act as if I'm perfect, because I'm not. I've also explored my whole phase, but it's not something that I'm going to celebrate. Yeah, it was fun, but I also know that I deserved more, and so should you. You have to see yourself in a different light. You're not just meant to be objectified as sexual objects. Whenever they promote the most beautiful woman in the world, you're not going to see an African face. You're not going to see an African American woman. You're always going to see this pasty peeled, unseasoned chicken face bitch. Excuse my language. You're not going to see us as being the most attractive woman in the world. Always going to see a European. We're always going to be put out there as being the most sexual, whorish Jezebels when it comes to the media. This isn't just the white media, it's our own media. Our own media looks at us that way. When we see women like Summer Walker, who is a mother of 3 children, finds herself in constant toxic relationships, we got to start asking ourselves, okay, maybe at this point, it's time to get help. Somewhere in those dark eyes that I see with her, there's a woman in there who is screaming to be loved. I think that's in a lot of these women, because all of the women who cheered us on to be whores and cheered us on to be thoughts and cheered us on to be hot girl summers, they're all in relationships. Cardi B is married, okay? Nicki Minaj is married. Little Kim, who was the epitome, the example of a woman who was owning her sexuality, she has a child and is focused on being a mother. Even Janet Jackson, who was once the most sexiest woman in the world, according to Rolling Stone, is focused on being a mother.
I love being a mother. I love my new job.
I love being a mother. I love my new job.
So when are we going to get to the point to where we need to make a change and a better effort at exemplifying dignity, class, respect, confidence outside of what our bodies are shaped and look like? Y'all got to get tired of seeing this. It has to come to a point to where y'all got to be like, okay, something in this milk ain't white. It's wrong, because this is not helping us. And it really kind of pissed me off by how many black women came at my throat when I posted that TikTok, because it appears that we've been in this whole phase for way too long. It was older women who were okay with saying, well, I'm in my most liberated state of hot girl summer and I'm having the best time ever. Okay, now did you get in that state because you didn't have any choice? Because you couldn't find a suitable mate that would accept you and love you? That you found the need to just be available to any and every Tom, Dick, and Harry that wanted to sleep with you? Is it because you feel as if, this is empowering myself? Or was it empowering you to allow multiple men to insert their penises in you? How is it empowering you? I know, as someone who explored her sexuality, I didn't feel empowered. I just wanted to be loved at that moment. I wanted more for myself. And no matter how good the sex felt, no matter how much fun I could have had with this person, no matter how much fun y'all could be having with this person, if the dick is good after a period of time and you're enjoying this person's company, I guarantee you eventually you're going to catch feelings. Because women are all about feelings. We're all about emotions. You're going to catch feelings. And then you're going to have that talk where you're going to be laying there, you're going to be chilling out, and you're going to say, so what are we? And men know what I'm talking about. You could sit here and say all day, well, we're just doing what the men do. You're not men. Stop letting society put that masculine stigma on you. You're not men, you're women. You hold yourself up to a higher standard. Stop being pick-me's. Even in the 90s when women were in Freaknik, it's been hoes since the beginning of time. These women still carried themselves a specific type of way. They didn't need to twerk on children. Yes, there are women out here twerking on kids. And then we sit here and we wonder why when we scream rape or men are feeling on us in a way to where we're uncomfortable, why nobody believes us. Because we set ourselves out to be looked at as nothing but sexual objects.
Big facts. You know what else it could be attributed to? The fact that young black girls are hypersexualized. The hypersexualization and adultification of young black girl then subjects them to getting raped, sexually harassed, and sexually assaulted. 1 in 4 black girls will be sexually abused before the age of 18 as children. According to the U.S. Department of Justice, 1 in 5 black women are survivors of rape. And for every black girl that does report of rape or sexual assault, 15 black women don't. The numbers don't lie. Do you know what happens to young girls who are sexually abused, raped, and assaulted? They become what you guys call promiscuous. Of course, as always, people rather demonize black women than view the root of the problem.
Nothing else. Don't worry about my mind. Don't, ignore my crown, ignore my heart, ignore that I'm a great woman, that I'm good to people, that I'm good to my community, that I'm a great mother, that I'm smart and I'm intelligent. Ignore all of those things and just look at how fat my ass is. Ignore all of those things and just look at how I move this thing. Ignore the fact that this girl needs healing, and let's just celebrate the fact that she's out here thotting it up for the world to see. There's no privacy in being a hoe anymore. Most of the girls who are hoes as teens or young ladies, they cleaned that shit up real quick because they realized that it wasn't getting them anywhere, and they knew eventually they were gonna wanna be in a relationship. Most of the women I know who were hoes when they was in school, they're married now. They're either in some type of religion, they're either in some type of business, they're either in some type of practice where they are focused on their well-being, not on a dopamine hit, because that's all dick is. It's a dopamine hit. If it's not with somebody that you love, and too much of anything is bad. And I'm going to prove to you, we have a huge problem when it comes to HIV rates in our community. The blackest states have the highest rate of HIV and STDs. The blackest states, that's going to be Mississippi, Florida, Texas. The top 3 is Mississippi, Florida, Louisiana, as far as having the highest rate of HIVs amongst the citizens there. HIV is out of control, and that's only the numbers that are posted for Google to show you, because it's so many people that don't even get tested. When's the last time you done heard an artist even talk about safe sex? Let's be honest. We're not going to even keep ignoring the fact that it's affecting our babies. The rate of syphilis is 4 times higher in black babies because it's passed down from the mother. African Americans make up 13% of the population, but account for 42.1% of HIV cases in 2019. I'm calling on us to start taking accountability for this, because we can no longer blame the white man. We have to look ourselves in the mirror and realize that a change is needed, because if not, we're going to have a generation of babies behind us, a generation of young women behind us that are going to continue on to live this whole phase that's been going on for 20 years. Now, I don't have children, me, myself. I'm glad that I made the change, and I am a reformed hoe that's speaking to the new hoes. It's time to make a change, sis. You're better than what you put yourself out to be. You deserve better than what you put yourself out to receive. Own it. That way your daughters can follow in your footsteps and be the queens that the world needs, and show the world that black women are more than ass, tits, and hips. And I'm out. Make sure you all like, share, comment, and subscribe. Shout out to everybody who looked at the first video. This channel is for everybody. Everybody, all races and cultures and backgrounds. So one thing's for sure, two things for certain is I'm black first. And if I see an agenda that is constantly being put on my people, I have to bring it to you all. Now, don't shoot the messenger. Only receive the message. If it ain't for you, leave it and allow somebody else to receive it. You guys be blessed, be well. Peace.
Black women. What I'm about to say is going to sting a lot of you, but listen attentively. You are more powerful than you imagine. In fact, in the spiritual realm, you are second to none. Do not trade this power for sex, all because of money. You may not be aware of this power, but I can assure you that the forces fighting against us are very much aware, and they are fighting so damn hard to diminish it. Ever wondered why you are the most hated group on earth? Ever wondered why, when it is time to promote things like beauty standards and anything that is positive, a black woman's face is never on it? But when it is time to promote sexual promiscuity, guess who you see? The faces of black women all over it. They try to convince you that sexual promiscuity is a sign of strength and independence, when in reality it is not. Even in the physical realm, you stand at a very high disadvantage. You risk contacting STDs, you risk falling pregnant for a random man you know nothing of. You risk losing your womb because you want to commit abortion just to look good in society and avoid answering single mom. Some of you say it is fun and living your best life. Well, what sort of fun has such deadly disadvantages? Normally, a woman will find it difficult to sleep with a man that she's not attracted to, but these days, you guys do it with ease, and then you complain when you find it difficult to emotionally attach to a man. Some of you have even gone to the extent of sleeping with animals just because of money, because there are cases early this year of women sleeping with dogs. You guys never asked why those men came all the way from their countries just to pay you to perform such activities. It never occurred to you that it will have sexual repercussions and it could be a ritual. And many of you after that will never be the same, because you have crossed a boundary which you shouldn't have crossed. And you may find yourself becoming attracted to animals. There are even stories of porta potty where women will go to Dubai just to be shit on and asked to do all manner of sexual activities just for a huge sum of money. And still, they didn't think it was spiritual. Some of you have even become the predators you hate so much. And now you look for ways to lure young girls into becoming like you. Some of you are even guilty of raping young boys. Is it because men do not speak about it? Now, any woman that is trying to convince you that it is fun and trendy to be promiscuous, look at her life closely. She's dying inside and she's very miserable. And as we all know, misery loves company. Take note, I'm not saying you shouldn't have sex. I'm only saying be faithful to your partner and avoid careless, random sex. Now, you can either choose to listen or you can get mad and angry, but deep down, you know the truth. And as for the spiritual aspect, there are people that actually understand where I'm coming from and the kind of power black women hold. If you like, trade yours for irrelevant things.